You are listening to the Sleep Encyclopedia. Tonight's entry is about trees. Ordinary, motionless, endlessly patient. They have been here long before us, and they will likely remain long after. As you settle into stillness, allow your breath to move gently in and out. As the wind moves through a forest, you do not need to think, or remember, or plan. You are simply here, listening to facts about trees. They are not exciting facts. They will not twist or turn or demand your attention. They will drift quietly past, like sunlight moving across a forest floor. Let them carry you wherever your mind wishes to go, or nowhere at all. A tree begins as a seed. Each seed holds a map for the life to come, a pattern of growth written in silent chemistry. Some seeds are light enough to float on the air. Others are wrapped in fruit, carried far away by animals who never know. They are planting forests as they feed. When the seed finds a place of rest, a pocket of soil, a bit of moisture, a fragment of shade, it begins its slow and steady work. A root pushes downward. A shoot rises toward the light. It does this without hurry, without sound, without expectation. It simply grows. The first trees appeared more than 300 million years ago. They changed the planet's air, drawing in carbon dioxide and releasing the oxygen we breathe tonight. Without trees, the sky itself would be a different color. The oldest known living tree is a bristlecone pine named Methuselah. It has stood in the mountains of California for nearly 5,000 years. It has seen winters, fires, droughts, and countless nights like this one, where wind moves through its needles and the stars shift slowly overhead. Every tree that has ever grown has done so by the same quiet principles. They stretch upward, seeking the sun. They send roots downward, seeking the earth. Between those two directions lies all of their existence, a conversation between soil and sky. There are an estimated 3 trillion trees on Earth. That is roughly 400 trees for every person alive. Each one an independent life. Each one a slow clock counting years, in rings of wood beneath its bark. Trees do not sleep, but they do rest. At night, they lower their leaves slightly, as though in gentle exhalation. Their sap slows. Their pores close. They wait for morning. If you listen closely, you might imagine the quiet creaking of their growth, a pace so slow it escapes our notice. In forests, that slowness becomes a kind of harmony. No rush, no hurry, just time unfolding. The word tree is simple. It belongs to nearly every language. In Latin, arbor. In Old English, tro. In ancient Sanskrit, taru. The meaning has hardly changed. A living column of wood. Tonight, we will wander gently through this world. Through roots and bark. Through leaves and light. Through rings and seasons. We will learn nothing new that demands to be remembered. Only quiet, steady truths that have existed for millions of years. And as you listen, perhaps you will feel a bit like a tree yourself. Rooted, calm, breathing slowly in the dark. We will begin with the basics. What is a tree? And why does it stand so still? We begin with the simple question. What is a tree? A tree is a perennial plant with an elongated stem, the trunk that supports branches and leaves. It grows upward toward the sky and downward into the soil, a living bridge between earth and air. Most trees stand taller than 3 meters, though some are smaller, and others rise far beyond our imagination. The definition is simple, but the life it describes is not. There are more than 73,000 known species of trees on Earth. Scientists believe thousands more remain undiscovered, hidden in deep forests, valleys, and remote mountains. Trees are everywhere. Life can take root, from deserts where rainfall is rare, to swamps where roots live half submerged in water, to frozen northern forests that see only a few months of warmth each year. They have adapted to nearly every condition our planet offers. When we look at a tree, we see stillness. But beneath the surface, it is in constant motion. Water rises through its veins. Sugars flow downward from the leaves. Cells divide and expand. Each part knows what to do, without noise or command. The visible structure of a tree, the trunk, the branches, the leaves, is only half the story. Below ground, an equally vast network extends outward. Roots can spread 2 or 3 times wider than the tree's crown above. They anchor it, feed it, and connect it to the hidden communities beneath the soil. A single tree may share nutrients with its neighbors through a web of fungal threads called mycorrhizae. Through this network, trees exchange carbon, nitrogen, and chemical messages. A quiet underground conversation that has been happening for hundreds of millions of years. The first true trees appeared about 385 million years ago, during the Devonian period. Before them, plants were smaller mosses, ferns, and shrubs that rarely rose above a few feet. Then, some plants evolved woody tissue lignin that allowed them to stand taller and transport water efficiently. Those early forests changed Earth's atmosphere forever. They drew down carbon dioxide and filled the air with oxygen. The planet cooled. New ecosystems emerged. The slow rise of trees reshaped the world. Today, trees cover about 31% of the Earth's land surface. That's roughly 4 billion hectares of forest. But not all forests are the same. Tropical rainforests hum with year-round growth. Boreal forests, near the poles, rest under snow for half the year. Temperate forests, like many we know, change with the seasons. Budding, blooming, shedding, and sleeping. Each type of forest has its rhythm. Each tree, its own pace of life. If you were to count the number of leaves on an average mature tree, you might find tens of thousands, sometimes hundreds of thousands. Each leaf lives only a short time, a few months to a few years. Yet the tree itself may live for centuries. It replaces its leaves again and again, like waves forming and fading on the shore of time. A tree's outer shape, its crown, depends on light. Branches stretch toward brightness and open space, while shaded limbs slow their growth. This process, called phototropism, ensures that leaves capture as much sunlight as possible. No leaf competes unnecessarily, each adjusts until balance is found. The growth of a tree is slow but continuous. Each year, a thin layer of new wood forms just beneath the bark. That layer becomes a growth ring, a record of the seasons, the rains, the droughts, the calm and the storm. If you could read those rings, you could read the story of weather, of years, of quiet endurance. In most trees, there are three visible parts: the roots, the trunk, and the crown of branches and leaves. But inside those parts, there is a system far more complex. Roots absorb water and minerals from the soil. The trunk contains channels that carry water upward and sugars downward. The leaves capture sunlight and transform it into energy through photosynthesis. The tree does not think, yet it knows exactly what to do. During daylight, leaves open small pores called stomata to exchange gases. They take in carbon dioxide and release oxygen. This is one of the quietest miracles on Earth. A silent trade between trees and the air we breathe. Through this constant exchange, forests create and maintain our atmosphere. In every breath you take, there is a trace of oxygen once held inside a leaf. Trees also shape the ground beneath them. Falling leaves become soil. Roots hold that soil together, preventing erosion. Branches intercept rain, softening its fall to the earth. Even when they die, trees continue their work. A fallen trunk feeds insects, fungi, and mosses. It slowly returns its stored minerals to the forest floor. In that way, nothing in a tree's life is wasted. Even decay becomes nourishment. To study trees is to study time. They grow in increments too slow for the impatient eye. From seed to sapling to towering giant may take decades, centuries, or more. Some species, like birches and willows, live briefly, perhaps 60 or 70 years. Others, like oaks or redwoods, endure for hundreds, even thousands. The world's oldest trees are nearly 5,000 years old. They were already standing when the pyramids were built. They have seen the rise and fall of empires. And yet, they remain. Rooted, silent witnesses to history. Trees reproduce in many ways. Some spread seeds by wind, like the maple, whose paired wings spin gently as they fall. Others rely on animals to carry their fruit. A few, like aspens, clone themselves, sprouting new trunks from shared roots underground. In that way, a grove of aspens is not many trees, but one single organism, connected by a common root system. Some of these groves are thousands of years old, living communities that share water, energy, and memory through the soil. When scientists count trees, they estimate there are around 3 trillion living on Earth. That number is almost impossible to imagine. If you were to count one tree every second, you would need nearly 100,000 years to reach the total. And yet, despite their number, trees are vulnerable. Every year, millions are lost to fire, disease, and deforestation. But many are also planted by wind, by water, by human hands. The cycle continues, as it always has. Each tree, from the smallest sapling to the tallest redwood, is a complete world unto itself. On its bark live lichens and moss. In its branches, birds build nests. Its roots shelter beetles and worms. Even after it falls, it remains a home. A forest within a forest. To call a tree boring is perhaps a misunderstanding. It is only that its excitement happens slowly. Too slowly for us to notice without stillness. But when we match its pace, when we sit in its shade and listen, we find that the quiet is full. So, as you listen to these facts, imagine a tree standing somewhere in the dark. It does not know that you exist. It does not care whether you call it beautiful or dull. It is simply living, patiently, endlessly, without need for praise. Every breath of wind is a story written through its leaves. Every year, it adds another invisible line to its history. This is the essence of tree life. Persistence without haste. Stillness that never stops growing. And now, we will look closer at what keeps this quiet structure alive. The trunk and its hidden layers. In every forest, there is a presence that draws the eye upward. A column of living wood rising steadily toward the light. The trunk, the very spine of a tree. It is easy to overlook, a shape so common that it vanishes into the background of the world. Yet within this quiet pillar flows the lifeblood of the forest itself. Every trunk begins as a fragile shoot, scarcely thicker than a blade of grass. Over seasons and years, it strengthens, layer by layer, cell by cell, until it becomes the solid body of the tree, the channel between earth and sky. The architecture of a trunk. The trunk's purpose is simple, to hold the tree upright and to move life between its roots and its leaves. But how it achieves that simplicity is a masterpiece of evolution. At its surface lies the bark, a protective skin. Beneath it, the phloem and xylem, the conduits through which food and water travel. Together, they create a system at once delicate and immensely strong. A cross-section of a trunk reveals its story. From the outside inward, bark, phloem, cambium, sapwood, and heartwood. Each has its role. Each is a chapter in the tree's history. Bark, the skin of the forest. Let us begin with the bark itself. Rough or smooth, flaky or furrowed, bark is more than decoration. It is armor. The outermost layer, the cork or outer bark, shields the tree from heat, cold, and attack. It keeps moisture in and insects out. Some barks are only a millimeter thick. Others, like that of the cork oak, may reach 30 centimeters. Each texture tells us how a tree has chosen to survive. Birches, for instance, wear thin, papery bark that peels away in curling sheets, shedding parasites and reflecting sunlight in the glare of northern summers. Pines, by contrast, grow deep plates and ridges, a rugged armor that resists fire and frost alike. Beeches and young beeches, smooth as stone, have bark that stretches without splitting, while the redwood's bark, soft and fibrous, can be more than a foot thick. An astonishing defense against flame. In tropical rainforests, bark tends to be thin and dark. There, the threat is not cold or drought but competition, fungi, vines, and relentless moisture. The trees shed thin bark quickly, sloughing off mosses and molds before they can take hold. Some trees wear bark that peels in deliberate patterns. The plane tree sheds large plates each year. revealing patches of pale green beneath a constant renewal that keeps its surface free from pests and pollution. Every crack, every groove, every curl of bark is a sign of adaptation. No two species are exactly alike. Beneath the surface, bark may seem inert, but inside it, life is moving. Just beneath lies the phloem, a living tissue that carries the sugars made in the leaves down to feed the rest of the tree. When you see sap dripping from a broken branch, you are witnessing the phloem at work, a river of nourishment flowing quietly beneath the skin. Deeper still is the cambium, a single layer of cells, thin as a sheet of paper. This is the engine of growth. Each year, the cambium divides, producing new xylem inward and new phloem outward. It is here that a tree becomes wider, ring by ring, season by season. The cambium's pace is slow, but relentless, a record keeper that never sleeps. Inside lies the sapwood, also known as the xylem. It transports water and minerals upward from the roots to the leaves. Millions of microscopic tubes, tracheids, and vessels form a plumbing system so efficient that a single large oak can lift hundreds of liters of water a day. Carried by capillary action and the pull of evaporation at the leaf tips. At the center rests the heartwood, the oldest, densest part of the trunk. Its cells are no longer alive, but they serve a final purpose: strength. The heartwood is the skeleton of the tree. A column of hardened tissue impregnated with resins, tannins, and oils that resist decay. When you see the rich brown or red grain of polished timber, you are looking into the heartwood, the history of seasons turned to stone. Rings of time. If we cut through a fallen tree, we can read its life written in rings. Each band marks 1 year of growth. A pale ring of springwood, when water was plentiful, and a darker band of summerwood, formed as the season slowed. Together, these rings tell a story of abundance and hardship, of wet years and dry ones, of warmth and cold, of fires survived. The study of these rings, dendrochronology, allows scientists to trace climate patterns centuries into the past. A forest, it turns out, keeps the memory of the planet in its wood. Some trees, like tropical evergreens, grow so evenly that their rings are faint, while others, such as pines or oaks, display them clearly, a visible calendar of endurance. Trunk as habitat. A trunk is not merely a structure. It is an ecosystem. On its bark live mosses, lichens, fungi, beetles, spiders, and birds. Tiny crevices become shelters, hollow cavities, entire worlds. Woodpeckers carve nesting holes. Ants create highways across the ridged bark. Even decaying trunks, softening with time, sustain colonies of life, from fungi that recycle its fibers to seedlings that take root in its remains. A fallen trunk, half buried in the soil, is not dead. It is transforming wood, becoming earth, energy returning to the cycle. The strength of a trunk lies not only in its material but in its design. Its round form distributes stress evenly, allowing it to withstand wind from every direction. Within the wood, fibers spiral slightly, giving resilience and flexibility. A tree may bend, but rarely breaks. Some species twist as they grow. Eucalyptus and sweet chestnut are known for their spiral grain, a graceful adaptation that helps prevent splitting. In tropical regions, buttress roots spread outward from the base. Broad fins of wood that stabilize the towering trunks above shallow soil. Others adapt to water. Mangroves rise on stilts, their trunks pierced by breathing roots that draw air from the tides. In cold climates, trunks grow narrow and conical, shedding snow like water from a roof. Every variation is a conversation between tree and environment, a design refined over millions of years. The flow within. At any moment, sap is rising invisibly through the trunk. It climbs through the xylem at astonishing speed, sometimes meters per hour. When daylight fades, the pull slows. By dawn, it begins again. This pulse of movement, though silent, is the heartbeat of the forest. During spring, when buds swell and leaves unfurl, the sap surges upward, carrying the minerals gathered through winter's rest. In autumn, as leaves fall and photosynthesis wanes, the flow reverses. Sugars are drawn down into the roots, stored against the cold. If we could listen with perfect patience, we might hear the whisper of this current, a steady rhythm beneath the stillness. Bark through time. Some barks, like that of the cork oak, regenerate endlessly. Humans have harvested it for centuries, stripping the outer bark every decade or so. The tree, unharmed, grows it back. Each harvest produces the cork that seals our bottles and lines our floors, a renewable gift from a living surface. Elsewhere, bark carries its own chemistry. The cinnamon tree offers its aromatic inner bark, while the willow's bark contains salicin, the compound that led to aspirin. Even the papery bark of birch was once used for writing, its thin sheet serving as natural parchment in ancient times. So the bark, humble as it appears, has shaped human history too. The language of texture. To walk through a forest is to read an alphabet of surfaces. Run a hand along the bark of a pine, you feel the deep furrows of endurance. Touch the beech, its smoothness like stone cooled by rain. Each texture records the rhythm of growth and the struggle for survival. Some are dark with lichen, others streaked with resin or dusted with moss. Together, they form the skin of the earth's great lungs. For all its complexity, the trunk asks for nothing. It does not rush, it does not rest, it simply continues. Through drought and storm, through frost and fire, it endures. In forests where generations come and go, the trunks remain silent witnesses to time. When a tree finally falls, its trunk begins another chapter. In decay, it feeds the soil. Its fibers, softened by fungi, release carbon back into the air, the same carbon once drawn from the sky. Thus the circle closes, perfectly balanced. The trunk, a column of wood, a vessel of water, a chronicle of years. To the untrained eye, it is only a stick of brown and green. But to those who look closely, it is one of nature's greatest works of engineering, a structure of quiet strength. Growing toward the light, sustained by darkness below. Next, we will climb a little higher, to the living solar panels that crown every tree. Leaves thin, green, and astonishing. The instruments that capture light and turn it into life. High above the forest floor, a gentle rustling begins. It is the sound of a billion tiny engines' leaves, turning sunlight into life. Each one seems still, yet every second, invisible reactions ripple across their surface. They are the solar panels of the living world, ancient, precise, and astonishingly efficient. A leaf begins as a small bud, tightly folded, hidden beneath a layer of protective scales. When spring arrives, warmth whispers through the branches. Cells at the tip of the bud divide, expand, and unfurl, revealing paper-thin layers of green. Each leaf is an experiment in geometry. Some are broad, built to capture every stray photon. Others are slender, curled, or feathered, shaped by wind, altitude, or the hunger of grazing mouths. The green you see is chlorophyll, a pigment that changed the planet. It absorbs red and blue light from the sun and reflects the color left behind, green. This shimmering pigment is older than any forest, older than land itself. It began in the oceans, within ancient cyanobacteria that first learned to trap sunlight. In doing so, they filled the air with oxygen and made the world breathable. When light strikes a leaf, its journey is almost unimaginably complex. Photons, the tiniest parcels of light, plunge into the leaf's surface, striking chlorophyll molecules inside microscopic chambers called chloroplasts. There, in perfect silence, sunlight is converted into chemical energy. Water, drawn up from the roots, is split into hydrogen and oxygen. The oxygen drifts out through tiny pores on the underside of the leaf, called stomata, the same oxygen you now draw into your lungs. Inside the leaf, the hydrogen joins carbon dioxide from the air, forming simple sugars. Glucose, the first step in nearly every food chain on Earth. It is the original recipe for energy. From it, trees build wood, fruit, and seed. Animals eat the fruit. We eat the animals. All of it, every calorie, every heartbeat begins with a leaf and the light it captures. But leaves do more than feed. They breathe. Through their stomata, they exchange gases with the world, exhaling oxygen, inhaling carbon dioxide. A single large tree can release enough oxygen each year for several humans to breathe. Yet this is not generosity, it is simply the rhythm of life. In their quiet exchange, forests stabilize the air that surrounds our planet. If you look closely at a leaf, really closely, you would see a universe of pattern. A network of veins, branching and dividing, each one carrying water and nutrients from the stem. The pattern resembles rivers, or lightning, or the lines of the human lung. Nature repeats her designs again and again, efficient, elegant, inevitable. Some leaves are smooth and waxy, built to resist drought. Others are hairy or rough, trapping moisture from fog or dew. In the rainforest, enormous leaves stretch toward fleeting shafts of light that break through the canopy. In deserts, leaves shrink to needles thin enough to avoid losing water in the heat. Even in their shapes, leaves are stories of survival. At dawn, they wake. Some turn slowly to face the rising sun, following it across the sky. This gentle movement, heliotropism, allows them to catch light throughout the day, like dancers tracing an invisible rhythm. At night, many droop slightly, entering a kind of rest. Their internal clocks sense the fading light, and enzymes within them shift gears, slowing the chemistry of photosynthesis. It is not sleep as we know it, but it is close. Listen long enough, and you can almost imagine the whisper of that hidden industry. Molecules splitting, atoms joining, life renewing itself molecule by molecule. Every breath of air, every mouthful of food, is linked to this ancient work of the leaves. When the light dims and the seasons change, the leaves prepare for their slow departure. Chlorophyll fades, revealing the pigments that were always there: yellows, oranges, reds, carotenoids and anthocyanins. The forest, for a brief moment, glows with every color of flame. Then, one by one, the leaves let go. Gravity takes them, and they return to the soil that once fed them. The sugars they built in summer are stored within the tree's roots and trunk, waiting for spring to return. This cycle, light to sugar, sugar to wood, wood to soil, soil to life again, is endless. It is a system so vast, and yet so silent, that we rarely notice it. But without it, there would be no animals, no forests, no us. Not every leaf is green. Some are purple, burgundy, or silver, colored by pigments that protect them from too much sun or heat. Others, like the leaves of succulents, store water in thick, fleshy layers. Some leaves even eat. The Venus flytrap, the pitcher plant, the sundew all have evolved to capture insects. They live in soils too poor for nutrients, so they reach beyond the earth itself. Their traps close in a heartbeat, quick as a blink, one of the few movements in the plant world you can see. Yet even these strange species obey the same ancient rule. Light first, always light. Without it, their traps would never open, their colors never glow. It is humbling to think that trees, creatures of immense size and strength, depend entirely on the frailest thing imaginable, a leaf, thinner than paper. And that leaf depends on the touch of sunlight, traveling across 93 million miles of space, striking Earth for the briefest instant. For that instant, the planet breathes. If you could stand inside a beam of light as it enters the canopy, you would see dust and pollen drifting through the air, tiny worlds floating between worlds. Some of that pollen will settle on a waiting flower. Some will fall to the forest floor. And some will land on the surface of a leaf, becoming food for minute bacteria that live there. Every surface, every crevice of a leaf, holds life. Mites, fungi, microorganisms, an invisible community supported by the chemistry of light. Even fallen leaves continue to serve. As they decay, they release nutrients back into the soil. Fungi and bacteria break them down, their threads weaving through the forest floor. The nutrients travel upward again, through roots, into new growth. Nothing is wasted, everything returns. And so the story of the leaf is really the story of balance between light and dark, growth and decay, creation and return. A simple organ, repeating across billions of branches, quietly powering the world. For all our technology, we have never built anything as efficient as a leaf. Solar panels convert about 20% of sunlight into usable energy. A leaf, on a good day, converts nearly twice that and repairs itself when damaged. It makes its own materials, heals its own wounds, and decomposes gracefully when its work is done. To stand beneath a tree and watch the light move across its leaves is to witness something close to perfection. The shimmer of reflected sunlight, the patterns of shade, the movement of air, all are side effects of a deeper process that sustains everything alive. As day fades into night, photosynthesis slows, and another process takes its place. Leaves continue to breathe, but now they draw in oxygen and release carbon dioxide, much like animals do. The exchange is delicate, balanced across the entire forest. When the first light returns in the morning, the pattern reverses again. This rhythm, day and night, light and dark, has pulsed for billions of years. It is, in a sense, the heartbeat of the planet. Next time you stand beneath a tree and see its leaves trembling in the wind, remember what they're doing, each one silently spinning sunlight into the matter of life. They do not ask for notice or reward. They simply continue, as they always have, converting light into food and food into forests, until the world itself hums with the quiet, endless work of leaves. The sunlight fades from the leaves, and what was bright now turns inward. For every branch that reaches toward the sky, there is another, hidden world stretching downward, a reflection, unseen. It is older, quieter, and darker than the forest above. It is the realm of roots. Beneath your feet, the soil is not silent. It breathes. It moves. It hums with slow and ancient purpose. When a seed first awakens, its root is the very first thing to emerge, not the stem, not the leaf. It pushes downward, searching for moisture, anchoring the fragile life against the weight of the world. That first slender thread will become a vast and intricate network, a living architecture that mirrors the canopy above. Some roots grow deep, piercing rock and clay in search of hidden water. Others spread wide and shallow, weaving through fallen leaves and moss. Together they form the unseen skeleton of the forest, a patient map of endurance. If you could travel downward through the earth, you would pass through layers that are alive. The topsoil, soft and rich with decay, is where most life begins and ends. Beneath that lies the subsoil, pale and dense, laced with minerals carried by rain. Farther still lies the bedrock, slow, ancient stone, slowly dissolving into nutrients over time. In this layered world, roots move not with haste, but with certainty. Each cell at the tip divides and pushes forward, guided by gravity and moisture. They know which way is down, and they never lose their sense of direction. Around them, soil grains cling together, forming pockets of air and water. Bacteria, fungi, and tiny animals move between the millions within a single handful of earth. The soil is not dirt. It is a living fabric, and roots are its threads. Roots drink. They absorb water and dissolve minerals through delicate hairs so fine they can't be seen without magnification. A single tree may have billions of these root hairs, each lasting only a few days before new ones take their place. Through them, water rises, drawn upward through the trunk to the leaves, where it escapes again into the air. A tree is a fountain turned upside down. It pulls the sky into the ground, and the ground into the sky. But roots do more than feed. They listen. They feel. They communicate. When the roots of a tree encounter another of their kind, something remarkable happens. They do not always compete. Often, they connect. Fungi thread through the soil and join one root to another in vast, invisible networks. Scientists call this the mycorrhizal web, a partnership between plant and fungus that has endured for nearly 500 million years. The fungi extend the reach of the roots, collecting nutrients and water that the tree could not reach alone. In return, the tree sends sugars, the product of sunlight, down through its roots to feed its silent partners. Together, they form a living exchange, an underground economy more complex than any city. Through these threads, trees share resources. A young sapling, shaded and struggling, may receive carbon from older trees nearby. A dying tree may send its final energy to the forest around it, ensuring the next generation thrives. No one speaks, yet something like conversation passes through the soil. In the darkness below, time moves differently. Roots grow by millimeters a day, yet over decades they can span hundreds of meters. Some intertwine so tightly that when one tree falls, it pulls another with it, bound together even in death. Water is the sculptor here. Rain seeps downward, carrying with it the gifts of decay, leaves, ash, the dust of living things turned back to earth. Roots intercept this flow, drawing in nourishment and leaving behind a maze of passageways that let air reach deeper layers. Earthworms follow these tunnels, churning the soil. Insects, nematodes, and microbes swarm unseen. To them, each clump of soil is a mountain, each droplet of water, a sea. It is estimated that a teaspoon of healthy soil holds more organisms than there are people on the planet. Some break down dead leaves. Others fix nitrogen from the air, turning it into forms plants can use. Without them, the forest would starve in silence. And so, beneath every step you take, there lies a continuous hum of creation and decay. The slow recycling of life into life again. If you could stand beneath a great tree and see its roots as clearly as its branches, the sight would be extraordinary. They would spread outward 3 times the width of the crown, twisting and tapering into filaments finer than hair. Each one covered in living membranes that sense, signal, and respond. Some trees send roots upward again, breaking through the surface in twisting forms called knees-breathing roots, found in mangroves and swamps, that allow them to draw oxygen from the air. Others reach downward more than 100 meters, tapping hidden aquifers that have lain still for centuries. The banyan, in tropical forests, grows roots from its branches. They descend like curtains, touch the ground, and harden into new trunks. One tree becomes a forest of itself, a single being with hundreds of pillars, each feeding the same heart. In the soil, decay is not an ending but a conversation. Fallen leaves, once part of the canopy, now feed the roots that fed them. Wood becomes mulch, mulch becomes humus, humus becomes soil. The forest eats its own history, and in doing so, becomes stronger. Even the scent of rain on dry ground, that earthy aroma, is part of this story. It comes from geosmin, a compound released by soil bacteria when water returns. The smell we find comforting is, in fact, the breath of the earth itself, rising to meet the air. Down here, light never reaches, yet the influence of the sun is everywhere. The sugars that roots exchange, the energy that feeds fungi and microbes, all begin with the light captured by leaves. The forest is a single organism, its parts connected by unseen threads of energy. The canopy captures the sun. The roots distribute its memory through the soil. Roots also remember the past. In old forests, ancient root systems linger long after their trees have fallen. Sometimes, they keep a fallen stump alive for decades, passing it nutrients through shared connections. A ghost of the tree remains, nourished by the kindness of others. This cooperation does not arise from intention, but from interdependence. Each species, each organism, survives best when the network thrives. It is a lesson written not in words, but in wood and water. If you were to scoop a handful of soil and hold it to your ear, and if you could somehow listen across centuries, you might hear the quiet crackle of roots pushing through grains, the faint hiss of water moving upward, the sigh of air trapped and released. The ground is not solid. It is alive, shifting, breathing, remembering. In ancient times, people believed the roots of the world tree held the earth in place. Perhaps, in a way, they do. They hold the soil together, anchor the rivers, shape the land. When forests vanish, the ground loses its grip. Rains wash away the life that once teemed below. But where roots remain, so too does balance. To look at a tree is to see only half its story. Its strength is not in what reaches upward, but in what lies hidden beneath. Every ring in its trunk, every leaf that touches light, depends on the silent work below. Roots do not bloom or shimmer or sway. They are patient. They are the quiet architects of survival. And as you rest, somewhere beneath a forest floor, a root is growing. Just a fraction of a millimeter, yet enough to hold the world a little steadier. The soil exhales, the tree inhales. And in that breath, the planet keeps its rhythm. In the heart of every tree, beneath the bark and the living layers of wood, lies a record silent, perfect, and patient. It is not written in ink or carved in stone. It is written in rings. Each ring is a year of life, a circle of memory, pressed into the wood by the slow rhythm of seasons. It is here, deep within the trunk, that a tree keeps time. When a tree is young, its life begins as a narrow column of cells, newly formed from the seedling's core. As it grows, the outer layers expand, stretching toward the sky. But the inside that stays behind. The earliest years remain locked at the center, preserved forever within the heartwood. To look into a tree's cross-section is to look back through its history. Each pale band marks a season of growth. Each darker line, the slowing of that growth as autumn arrives and winter settles in. Together, they form a record of the years, a living calendar that measures not just time, but experience. The science of reading these rings is known as dendrochronology, from the Greek for tree time. It is one of the most precise ways to measure the age of a tree, and one of the most poetic. A single trunk can reveal not just its own life story, but the history of the land it grew upon. Wider rings tell of generous years when rain was plentiful and sunlight abundant. Narrow rings speak of hardship, of drought, or cold, or disease. Sometimes, scars appear dark, uneven marks that record the passing of fire, lightning, or storm. And yet, even after such trials, the tree continues to grow. New rings form above the old, each one a quiet act of resilience. Inside a tree, growth happens from the outside in, though not as one might think. Just beneath the bark lies a thin, shimmering layer of cells called the cambium. It is here that new wood is made. Each spring, as temperatures rise and sap begins to flow, the cambium awakens. It divides, forming fresh cells that will become the next ring. Some of these cells grow large and thin-walled, carrying water upward. This is the early wood. Later in the year, as growth slows and the air cools, the cells become smaller, denser, the late wood. The contrast between them forms the pattern of light and dark that marks a single year. This rhythm, growth and rest, abundance and restraint, is the pulse of the forest. Every ring a heartbeat. Every trunk a record of time flowing through wood. In tropical forests, where seasons are less distinct, rings may blur or vanish altogether. There, trees grow continuously, marking time not by temperature or frost, but by cycles of rain and drought. Even so, the story remains subtle, but written still, in density, texture, and color. Some trees live fast, growing tall in mere decades, their wood soft and pale. Others take their time, inching upward for centuries. In places like California and Chile, in Japan and New Zealand, there stand giants whose rings stretch back millennia. The oldest known trees are bristlecone pines, twisted, weathered beings that have witnessed nearly 5,000 years of changing skies. They were already growing before the pyramids were built, before writing itself was born. To stand beside one is to feel the weight of time made real. Each ring within its trunk is a whisper from an ancient world. The summers of forgotten centuries. The winters of empires long turned to dust. All still preserved, cell by cell, in the wood. Unlike animals, trees do not grow old in the same way. Their age is not fixed by a limit of years, but by balance between what grows and what decays. As long as the cambium continues to renew, a tree may live on. Some species, like the aspen, even outlive their individual trunks, spreading by root and sprout until the forest itself becomes a single living organism, reborn again and again. The tree center, the heartwood, is no longer alive. It no longer carries water or nutrients. But it does not decay easily. It stands as the skeleton of the tree, a core of strength and memory. Surrounding it lies the sapwood, the living conduit that carries water upward from the roots to the leaves. Layer by layer, the sapwood grows outward, turning to heartwood as new rings form around it. In this way, the tree grows not by stretching upward alone, but by thickening, building upon itself, year after year, until time itself becomes structure. If you listen closely to an old tree on a still day, you might imagine you can hear it, the faint creak of wood expanding in the warmth, contracting in the cool. This is not just the sound of wood, but of time itself in motion. When a tree falls, its rings become visible, the hidden diary of its existence revealed at last. Scientists can read those rings to trace droughts, volcanic eruptions, even the ripples of climate over centuries. Forests are, in a sense, the planet's historians, keeping a record of the Earth's moods. To understand how a tree measures time is also to see how differently time moves in the natural world. Where we count days and hours, the tree counts seasons. Where we rush through moments, it builds slowly, invisibly, ring by ring. Its patience is its strength. Its stillness, its form of wisdom. Each winter it rests not in sleep, but in silence. And each spring it begins again, adding another thin layer of life around the old. The heart never changes, but the surface renews. In some cultures, the rings of a tree are seen as sacred, a symbol of continuity, of eternity. The Celts believed that trees carried the memory of the earth. In Japan, certain temples are built with cedar wood so old that the builders say it remembers the rain. And in the far north, where the birch and pine endure endless cycles of freezing and thawing, their rings form not just in rhythm with the seasons, but with the aurora itself. Faint traces of the northern lights echoed in the pattern of their grain. There is a saying in forestry: a tree does not measure its height by the shadow it casts, but by the depth of its rings. Growth, for the tree, is not always visible. It happens quietly, beneath the bark, in the spaces we cannot see. Each year, the world outside leaves its mark: storms, droughts, light, and frost. But the tree endures, not by resisting these forces, but by recording them. Every hardship becomes a part of its strength. When old trees are cut and polished, their rings glow in amber tones. A spiral of light and dark tracing back through centuries. You can follow it inward, like a fingerprint of the earth itself. Each turn another step into the past. To the center, the tree's first heartbeat. A single year that began it all. It is humbling to think that within that narrow line lies everything that followed. The forest that rose around it, the seasons that shaped it, the generations of life that came and went beneath its branches. Rain falls, and each droplet carries a memory into the soil. Roots drink, and water climbs through the tree, filling its cells, shaping its wood. That same water, years later, may be released through a leaf, a circle complete. Time, too, moves in circles here. Some trees fall before their 100th ring. Others stand for 1,000 years. But no matter their age, the story they hold is the same. A record of persistence, of cycles repeated, of quiet endurance. In the oldest forests, fallen trunks lie beside seedlings just beginning their first ring. In that shared space, the end and the beginning coexist. Time, in the forest, does not end, it flows endlessly between roots and sky. If you close your eyes and listen, you might sense that rhythm. The deep, slow pulse of growth. The tree's quiet conversation with time. A tree does not rush, yet it never stops. It grows not in days, but in decades. Not in haste, but in harmony. And as centuries pass, its rings expand like ripples in still water. Each one carrying the story of the earth, written not for us, but for the forest itself. Beneath its bark, time continues to flow. Steady, silent, eternal. And so the forest remembers. Not through words, but through wood. When you look at a forest, you might see only trees, a crowd of trunks, a canopy of green. But the truth is far grander. A forest is not a collection of individuals. It is a system, a planet within a planet, where air, water, and life are woven into one continuous rhythm. Every forest, no matter how small, is a machine of balance. It breathes, it drinks, it exhales. It shapes the air we breathe, the rain that falls, and even the temperature of the earth itself. In its quiet way, it holds the planet steady. When the sun rises over the canopy, the first thing that stirs is light itself. Leaves open like countless green mirrors, capturing photons, tiny packets of solar energy that have traveled 93 million miles through space. Within each leaf, that light begins a miracle that has changed the history of the Earth. Photosynthesis. Using sunlight, carbon dioxide, and water, the forest turns air into matter, transforming invisible gas into the wood, roots, and leaves that form the living world. For every molecule of carbon pulled from the atmosphere, a molecule of oxygen is released. In this quiet exchange, forests create the air that animals, including us, depend upon. It is said that one mature tree can produce enough oxygen in a single season to sustain 2 human beings. But a forest is not one tree, it is thousands, even millions. Together, they are the lungs of the planet. Yet the exchange of gases is only the beginning. Forests also shape the planet's climate not just through oxygen and carbon, but through water. When sunlight warms the leaves, they release moisture into the air in a process called transpiration. This invisible mist rises and gathers to form clouds. In time, those clouds return the gift as rain. Across the Amazon, this cycle repeats endlessly. Each tree draws water from the ground, releases it skyward, and helps summon the very storms that feed the forest again. Some scientists call this the biotic pump, a vast, self-sustaining system that moves moisture across continents. When trees disappear, so too does the rain. Deserts begin where forests end. In temperate forests, the rhythm is slower. Here, rain and mist mingle with leaf and soil, seeping into the ground where roots and fungi absorb it. Every drop that passes through a forest becomes changed, filtered, enriched, purified. Streams that rise beneath trees run clearer than those that do not. The forest cleanses not just the air, but the water. Forests are also keepers of carbon. Every trunk, branch, and root is a reservoir, a vault storing carbon drawn from the air. Globally, forests hold nearly as much carbon as the atmosphere itself. When trees grow, they lock carbon away. When they die and decay, that carbon returns slowly, naturally, feeding the cycle of renewal. But when forests burn or fall, that balance breaks. What took centuries to store is released in moments. It is a reminder of how tightly the Earth's systems are linked. How the breath of a single forest can shape the breath of the world. To understand a forest's ecology is to understand interdependence. Each tree interacts not just with the soil below and the air above, but with every creature, every drop of water, every molecule of carbon. The roots bind the ground, preventing erosion. The canopy shades the soil, holding moisture in. Fallen leaves feed the earth, building humus that nourishes the next generation. Even the dead sustain the living. This cycle of growth, decay, and renewal is the heartbeat of the biosphere. From space, the great forests of the world form green bands that girdle the planet. The boreal forests of the north, endless pines and spruces stretching across Canada, Scandinavia, and Siberia hold more carbon in their soils than all the world's oil reserves. The rainforests of the equator, the Amazon, the Congo, and the islands of Southeast Asia generate the weather that feeds half the planet. And the temperate forests, where seasons rise and fall in color and silence, regulate the delicate exchange of air and water between land and sky. Together, they form what scientists call the terrestrial biosphere, the living skin of the Earth. Just a few kilometers thick, yet it sustains every known form of life. In the forest, even stillness has purpose. The canopy moderates temperature, absorbing sunlight by day, releasing warmth by night. Beneath it, the air remains cool and moist, a stable microclimate that protects the countless organisms living within. Remove the trees, and the temperature rises. The soil dries. The rains drift away. The balance tilts. It is easy to forget how much of our own stability depends on theirs. The oxygen we breathe, the rain that falls, the wood that shelters us. The medicines that heal us all come from the quiet work of forests. Even sound behaves differently here. In an open plain, the wind roars. In a forest, it whispers. The canopy filters noise as it does sunlight, creating a soundscape that animals have evolved to understand. A constant dialogue of calls, clicks, and rustles, each one a sign of movement, of presence, of balance. From the smallest moss to the tallest cedar, each form contributes to the whole. Lichens absorb moisture from the air. Ferns hold soil on steep slopes. Insects recycle leaf litter into nutrients. Birds and mammals disperse seeds, carrying the forest forward in time. No action is wasted. Nothing exists alone. Forests are also the memory of the Earth's atmosphere. Before trees evolved, oxygen levels on the planet were far lower. The first forests, nearly 400 million years ago, transformed that ancient world. Cooling the climate, stabilizing the soil, and making the air breathable for animals to come. In a very real sense, we owe our existence to them. And yet, forests do not need us. They thrived for hundreds of millions of years before human beings appeared. They will, if given the chance, continue long after. But for now, our fates are intertwined. When forests are cleared, their absence changes everything. Rainfall decreases. Rivers shrink. Soils erode and release their stored carbon back into the sky. Local climates shift, then regional ones, then global. The planet warms. The rhythm falters. But where forests return through regeneration, protection, and patience, balance begins to restore itself. Clouds gather again. Rain falls where it had ceased. The soil breathes. Life comes back. Some ecologists now speak of the forest effect, the power of trees to heal the atmosphere. By drawing carbon from the air and binding it into their tissues and the soil, forests act as the planet's great stabilizers. Each sapling, no matter how small, is a gesture of renewal. A reminder that nature's capacity for repair is vast. If only we give it space and time. There are forests beneath the sea, 2 kelp forests that sway in cold, green light. They, too, draw carbon from the water, shelter life, and slow the tides of change. Whether on land or beneath the waves, the principle is the same. Life builds balance. It moderates extremes. It endures. To walk in a forest is to move through a living engine of the planet's equilibrium. Every step stirs a billion interactions, unseen, continuous, precise. Each leaf adjusting its pores to the air. Each root sensing the moisture of the soil. Each microorganism breaking down the fallen into the fertile. And above it all, the steady exhalation of the canopy, the breath of the world itself. Forests teach us that stability is not stillness. It is movement in harmony. A constant exchange between light and dark, growth and decay, air and earth. This is ecology, the study of connection. And nowhere is connection more complete than in a forest. If you were to listen closely enough, perhaps you would hear the earth breathing. In the gentle sigh of wind through pine needles. In the patter of rain on leaves. In the hush that follows every storm. That is the sound of balance. The sound of life. Sustained by forests. And as the light fades once more across the canopy, the great engine slows. But it never stops. Even in darkness, the forest continues. Exchanging gases, circulating water, storing memory. Keeping time for the world. In every forest, beneath the shifting canopy and the slow dance of light through leaves, there exists a quiet cooperation, a kind of invisible conversation between all things that live there. It is easy to imagine the forest as a collection of trees, each standing alone, reaching upward in silent competition for the sun. But that is only the surface. Beneath the moss, under the mulch of fallen leaves and the gentle weight of time, the forest is not a collection of individuals, but a community. A living network woven together by roots, fungi, and the constant exchange of life itself. When we step into a forest, we enter a society, one that has been evolving for hundreds of millions of years. Each organism, from the tallest oak to the smallest bacterium in the soil, plays a role in maintaining the balance of the whole. And though there is no leader, no single mind guiding its function, the forest behaves as if it were one vast, connected being. Let us begin beneath the surface, where the story truly lives. The hidden network beneath the soil. Below the forest floor lies an intricate web, a biological internet made of fungal threads known as mycorrhizae. These delicate filaments stretch for kilometers beneath the ground, linking one tree's roots to another's. Through these microscopic tubes, trees can exchange nutrients, chemical signals, and even warnings. When one tree is in distress, attacked by pests, deprived of sunlight, or wounded by drought, it can send subtle chemical messages through the fungal network to others nearby. Neighboring trees respond by adjusting their growth, strengthening their defenses, or sharing resources through the same network. It is a system not built by intention, but by evolution, a slow, patient cooperation that ensures the forest survives as a whole. Scientists once thought this was merely a curious biological trick. But now we understand the mycorrhizal network is essential. It acts as the circulatory and nervous system of the woodland, transferring carbon, nitrogen, phosphorus, and countless other elements from one organism to another. In some forests, young saplings, shaded by towering parents, would die without this hidden support. Through their roots, mature trees feed them sugar, sustaining the next generation until they can reach the light. It is as if the forest itself remembers to care for its children. The cycle of life and decay. Every forest breathes not only through the leaves that make oxygen, but through the endless exchange of birth and decay. When a branch falls, when a trunk collapses to the earth, its death becomes the foundation of new life. Fungi, bacteria, and insects move in quietly. They break down the once living wood into nutrients, carbon, nitrogen, minerals, returning them to the soil where roots can drink them again. The same atoms that built the towering cedar may one day flow through the veins of a fern, or become part of a beetle's wing, or a bird's song. Nothing is wasted. In this slow recycling of matter, the forest sustains itself, endlessly renewing, endlessly transforming. Even fire, when it comes, is not always destruction. In many ecosystems, it is renewal, clearing old growth, releasing seeds, and triggering new cycles of germination. The forest is patient. It does not mourn the flame, only waits for the green to return. Animals of the canopy and floor. The trees may be the architects of the forest, but it is the animals that give it motion and voice. Every layer, from the sunlit canopy to the shadowed floor, hosts its own world of creatures. High above, in the shifting sea of leaves, birds move through their own sky. Insects feed, pollinate, and build. Bats drift through the twilight, weaving between trunks like spirits of the air. On the forest floor, the rhythm slows. Deer graze softly among the ferns. Foxes trace invisible paths between roots. And beneath the soil, earthworms turn the ground, unseen but vital, keeping the earth aerated and fertile. Each plays a part, their actions connected in ways they cannot comprehend. A fallen fruit feeds an animal. The animal's droppings carry the seed to new soil. A new tree rises in time, continuing the quiet dialogue between life and land. In this way, the forest grows not through dominance, but through reciprocity, each species giving and receiving, maintaining the fragile balance that allows the whole to endure. The language of chemicals and scent. If we could listen to the forest not with ears, but with instruments sensitive to scent and signal, we would hear a vast symphony of communication. Trees release chemical compounds into the air, some to attract pollinators, others to warn of danger. When a caterpillar begins to feed on a leaf, the plant responds, producing defensive chemicals that make the taste unpalatable. Nearby trees detect the signal and preemptively do the same, preparing for the unseen threat. It is a kind of conversation one carried not by sound, but by chemistry. Though silent to us, it has shaped the behavior of forests for millions of years. Each message, each invisible molecule drifting through the air, contributes to the resilience of the community. Cooperation and competition. Like all ecosystems, the forest is both gentle and fierce. Beneath its calm exterior lies a constant negotiation for resources: light, water, and space. Some trees rise faster, capturing sunlight with broad crowns. Others bide their time, growing slowly in shade, waiting for a gap to open in the canopy. In the understory, ferns and shrubs adapt to the dim light, evolving to thrive on what little energy filters through. Competition and cooperation coexist not as opposites, but as complementary forces. Where one tree falls, many others find opportunity. Where nutrients are scarce, roots entwine to share them. The balance is not static. It shifts, endlessly adjusting to weather, season, and circumstance. In this way, the forest behaves less like a battlefield and more like a breathing organism, responsive, adaptive, and always in motion. The rhythm of seasons. The community of the forest moves to a rhythm older than memory. Spring stirs it awake, sap rising, buds unfolding, creatures emerging from the cold soil. Summer is abundance, the canopy thickens, the air hums with life, and the cycle of feeding and growth reaches its height. Then comes autumn, the season of letting go. Leaves drift downward, layer upon layer, feeding the soil with their fading bodies. And finally, winter, a stillness that is not death but rest. Even in the cold silence, the forest is alive. Roots continue to breathe, fungi spread beneath the frost, and seeds sleep beneath the snow, waiting for the warmth to return. It is a rhythm of patience, of knowing that every ending is simply another form of beginning. A forest as a whole. When viewed from above, a forest seems like a single green organism, an undulating surface of leaves that changes color with the seasons, breathes with the wind, and glows faintly with the light of the sun. It is easy to forget that each leaf, each trunk, each root is alive on its own, yet all are united through countless interactions. The forest is more than its parts. It is an emergent intelligence, not conscious, perhaps, but deeply organized. It remembers droughts through the chemistry of its soil. It learns patterns of shade and moisture, adjusting how seeds sprout and where roots extend. Through centuries of change, it adapts, renews, and persists. A closing reflection. To stand within a forest is to stand inside a living system that has no beginning or end, only transformation. Every breath we take, every heartbeat, every flicker of thought, is connected to this quiet network. For the oxygen we breathe, the wood that warms us, and the soil that feeds our crops all come from this ancient collaboration. The forest asks for little in return. Only time. Only peace. Only that we let it continue to speak its slow, patient language, the language of growth, decay, renewal, and balance. And so, as we leave this world of roots and branches behind for now, we remember. The forest is not just a place, it is a memory written in living form. A reminder that everything alive is part of something larger. And that, even in silence, the world is always speaking. Time, in a forest, does not move as it does for us. It does not tick or rush. It drifts. Each day blends softly into the next, the sun climbing and falling in a rhythm that feels eternal. Yet even here in the stillness of the trees the seasons turn. Every forest carries the memory of its own year, written not in calendars or clocks, but in the tender language of growth, rest, and renewal. To live as a tree is to live by this rhythm. To bend, to pause, to awaken, always in time with the earth itself. Let us travel through this circle of seasons through 1 year in the quiet life of the trees. Spring, the awakening. It begins with light. As winter loosens its grip, the days stretch a little longer. Sunlight, low and golden, filters through bare branches, warming bark that has slept for months beneath frost and shadow. Deep within the trunk, the first stirrings of life begin. Sap, thick, sweet, and full of stored energy, starts to rise from the roots, pulled upward by the lengthening light. For the trees, spring is not a sudden burst but a gradual remembering. Dormant buds, sealed against the cold, begin to swell. At first they are small and unassuming hints of green wrapped in brown. Then, almost overnight, the forest changes. A haze of fresh color spreads across the canopy. New leaves unfurl, soft, translucent, fragile. They tremble in the wind like the breath of something newly born. All across the woodland, energy flows. Roots draw in water from the soil, carrying minerals upward. Chlorophyll awakens within the leaves, ready to capture the returning sunlight. This is the forest's great renewal, the silent symphony of life beginning again. Birds return, insects hum, and the air thickens with scent of sap, of soil, of rain. Each tree joins the chorus, feeding, stretching, and drinking in the light. Spring is the season of promise, when every branch holds potential and every breath feels like beginning. Summer, the reign of green. By midsummer, the forest has reached its fullness. The canopy now forms a vast living roof, dense and rich with leaves that rustle like waves when the wind passes through. The sunlight no longer pours to the forest floor, it filters, gently, in shifting patterns of gold and green. This is the forest at its height, a cathedral of chlorophyll and light. Each leaf is a small miracle, transforming sunlight, water, and carbon dioxide into the sugars that sustain life. In the warmth of summer, photosynthesis runs at its peak. The tree drinks deeply from the soil, feeding not only itself but the countless organisms that depend upon it. Within the shade, the air is cool and damp. The ground breathes moisture. Tiny fungi and roots work in partnership, trading nutrients in a commerce older than any civilization. The trees stand in patient silence, but their lives are not idle, they are busy beyond imagining. They build new wood in rings, cell by cell, thickening their trunks. They store energy in their roots for the colder days to come. They grow, subtly but continuously, their bodies expanding in slow motion. Above, birds nest in the branches. Squirrels leap between limbs. The forest is alive with motion, yet its foundation, the trees, remain still, watchful, and enduring. Summer is their season of abundance, when the forest hums with the quiet energy of life fulfilled. Autumn, the season of letting go. Then, as the days begin to shorten once more, a subtle change spreads through the leaves. The deep greens begin to fade, replaced by golds, ambers, and crimson hues. Autumn arrives not with a shout, but with a sigh. This transformation is not decay, it is preparation. As the sun weakens, trees begin to withdraw their resources from the leaves. Sugars, nutrients, and pigments are drawn back into the trunk and roots, stored for the winter's rest. What remains in the leaves are the colors that summer had hidden, the fiery tones of carotene and anthocyanin. Soon, the first leaves begin to fall. They drift downward in slow spirals, carried by the wind, layering the forest floor in a soft, rustling carpet. This annual shedding is a kind of wisdom, a way for the tree to conserve water and energy when the cold months arrive. By letting go, the tree ensures its survival. The forest grows quieter now. The chorus of birdsong softens. The insects retreat. And yet there is a richness in this stillness, a sense of calm before rest. The fallen leaves, once high in the canopy, now return to the earth. In time, they will decompose, feeding the soil with nutrients that will rise again come spring. Even in surrender, the forest gives back to itself. Winter, the deep rest. Winter is the forest's pause. The trees, now bare and skeletal, stand as silhouettes against a pale sky. To human eyes, it might seem as though the forest has fallen asleep, silent, lifeless, still. But within each trunk, within every root and bud, life continues, slow, quiet, patient. Inside the cells of the tree, a remarkable transformation takes place. The water within them is reduced, replaced by protective sugars that prevent freezing. Metabolism slows to a whisper. In this suspended state, the tree conserves energy, waiting for warmth to return. Beneath the snow, roots continue to breathe. Fungi still work in the soil. The forest is not dead, it is dreaming. The wind moves through the empty branches with a low, haunting sound, like the breath of the earth itself. This is the season of endurance, when strength is measured not by movement, but by stillness. And though the days are short and cold, the promise of spring already sleeps within the buds. Each one is sealed and ready, holding the pattern of new leaves and flowers. The forest rests, but it does not forget. The eternal cycle. As the year turns again, light returns to the land. The snow melts. Water seeps into the earth. And once more, sap begins to rise. For the trees, the cycle of the seasons is not simply a pattern of weather, it is the rhythm of existence. They measure time not in days or hours, but in growth and dormancy, in abundance and restraint. Each ring within the trunk tells the story of a year of sunlight and drought, of wind and rain, of patience rewarded. The forest remembers through its wood. Its story is not one of haste, but of harmony, a continuous conversation between earth and sky, written in bark and leaf. A reflection in time. When we stand among trees, we stand within this rhythm, a tempo so slow, so vast, that our own lives seem to flicker by in comparison. The tree you pass each day may have seen centuries of summers and winters come and go. It has known droughts, storms, and quiet dawns beyond counting. Its memory is stored not in thought, but in form, in the subtle widening of its rings, in the curve of its roots, in the spread of its branches toward the sun. And so, as the seasons turn again, we might pause to listen. To feel, perhaps, a small echo of that patience, the calm acceptance of change, the understanding that life, like the forest, moves in cycles. In spring, there is growth. In summer, abundance. In autumn, release. In winter, rest. And then, inevitably, there is beginning again. The forest breathes. The earth turns. And the trees, the oldest storytellers of our world, continue their endless, graceful dance through the seasons. And now, as our journey through the world of trees draws to a close, we return to stillness. The forest has shown us its many faces, the delicate roots threading through the soil, the trunks rising like pillars of time, the leaves whispering secrets to the light. We have seen how it breathes, how it communicates, how it endures. But perhaps what lingers most is not what the forest does, but how it is. In the quiet company of trees, time feels different. Moments stretch. Thoughts soften. Even the smallest sound, a branch creaking, a leaf falling, carries weight and meaning. The forest teaches not through words or movement, but through patience. Each tree begins as a seed, no larger than a raindrop. Yet given enough time, enough light, enough care from the earth, it becomes something vast and enduring. Every towering pine, every ancient oak, every whispering birch all began in silence, in stillness. And it is through that stillness that they grow. If there is wisdom in trees, it lies in their understanding of balance. They do not hurry to reach the sky. They do not resist the wind, nor fear the changing seasons. They bend, they adapt. Why the sight of sunlight dappling through branches seems to slow the pulse, quiet the mind. The forest invites us to remember that peace is not found by seeking, but by pausing, by being present, like a tree, rooted yet open, still yet alive. And as night settles over the forest, a gentle hush falls. The air cools. The last light fades between the trunks. In the distance, a single bird calls before sleep. Somewhere, a seed has just taken root. And somewhere else, an old tree returns to the soil that once held it. The cycle continues, silent, steady, eternal. The trees will go on living, growing, breathing. They will mark the passing of seasons in rings of wood, whisper their stories through leaves, and cradle the memory of time in their roots. And we, too, are part of that story, one heartbeat, one breath, within the long life of the earth. So, as you close your eyes and drift towards sleep, let the forest hold you. Let its calm settle through you deep and slow. For even in the stillness, life moves. And even in silence, the trees continue to dream.